Curtis Calhoun here with MMA News, and my next guest has another big fight coming up August 15th on Dana White's Contender Series. It's Cameron Smotherman joining me today. How's it going, Cameron?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks again for the time. I really do appreciate it. First things first, like obviously we got this big fight coming up in Contender Series, and obviously it's got to be super exciting for you. Just kind of take me through, like, what was your immediate reaction when you got this offer to compete on Contender Series, and how pumped are you to get back in the cage?
So when I first got the confirmation, like they've been telling me I was gonna get it. But once I actually got the text, like, hey, you're fighting this date against this opponent, I was like, oh my god, oh my god. I texted my mom, texted my girlfriend, and then I was like, this is crazy. And I remember calling Adrian. I was like, bro. He's like, wait. I was like, bro. And this went on for like 20 minutes, and he was like, you got it? And I was like, I got it. And then so then it was just like full blown, almost like a panic. Just like, I was just like crazy. Like, finally here. We finally not made it, but we're finally here. And now it's just kind of business as usual.
A lot of fighters I've talked to, they've talked about that surreal moment, when they get that offer to fight in the UFC or fighting on Contender Series or anything like that. Like, when you got that phone call and found out that, you were fighting on Contender Series and you're just one potential win away from getting into the UFC, like, take me through what was going through your mind at that moment.
So it was just like, in my mind, it was just a whirlwind. It was just like, I'm like, wow, like, it felt so long, but it feels, relatively short at the same time. And I'm like, man, do I deserve it? Of course I deserve it. Should I be here? Of course I should be here. It's just like, it was kind of like I just had to confirm with myself that, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm supposed to do.
Absolutely, man. Obviously, you're coming into this fight with a lot of momentum, 4 wins in a row, and Fury FC. I want to ask you a little bit about that. Like, what do you feel like what areas of your game do you feel like you've improved the most and kind of grown the most, like, since you suffered your last loss? Like, what do you feel like is kind of the biggest key during this win streak that you're on?
I've definitely, had to work on my grappling. It was never that my grappling was even just that bad, but my striking was so good that most people were like, let's just get this guy on the ground and work from there. So I'd say, I really doubled down on doing a lot more grappling, a lot more wrestling. That's pretty much been the biggest thing I've had to work on, and in working on my grappling, I've gotten to be more confident with my striking and let my hands go more than ever before.
Talk to me a little bit about your friendship with Adrian Yanez. He's a guy that I've talked to, I think, like 4 or 5 times, and always a great interview. I want to get your thoughts on him. Like, what do you feel like you've learned the most from him and watching him and kind of seeing how his career has progressed?
With Adrian, I would say like the biggest thing, like me and him, we naturally have a similar style. That's actually why I went to the gyms, because I saw him and I was like, he fights like how I envision myself fighting in the future. So we like we see things like very similarly. We have similar mindsets when it comes to fighting, and then even on a personal level. But I say the way he helped me out in the biggest is literally just kind of being that mentor. He's walking the path before me. Like, watch out for that pothole, watch out for this. And I say that's probably the biggest thing. Just seeing, like, because I was around when he was still on the regional scene, so basically he showed me that it was possible, and I can basically do it just like him, if not better. And those are his words.
Working with a guy like that, that's obviously gotten a lot of added spotlight with the career that he's had in the UFC so far. Like, what do you feel like you've learned from watching how he's handled the added spotlight and fame and recognition and all that?
Really, it's just kind of, stick to what you know. Like, he's it's weird. Like, for us, like, our relationship is the same, regardless of, the win, the loss, whatever. But just, he stayed the same person. He hasn't switched up. He hasn't changed. And it's just like, yeah, just keep doing what we're doing, and you're gonna get there. Like, it's like it's really easy to forget that he's becoming such a big deal, whatever. Like, until you like go to his Instagram and like, man, when'd you get this many followers? Like,
Yeah.
but really, he's the same. Like to me, I'm like, yeah, you're still a dweeb, but he's cool though. I like him.
Does having a guy like that in your corner kind of boost your own confidence, like when you're getting in the cage and preparing and all that? Has that kind of really helped your confidence and kind of your overall game?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, again, not even because of what he's accomplished, but just because of our personal relationship. Like, pretty much everybody you'll ever see in my corner is like they're not there just because of their skills. Like I need to have a personal relationship. Like I feel like they need to know me, and I feel like he knows me really well, so I can relax in the sense that he's in the gym with me every single day, so he knows what I can do. He knows what I can't do. He knows what I'm thinking. He knows what I need to hear. So.
Fighting on Contender Series, you're not just looking for a win, right? You're obviously, you're looking to impress Dana White, potentially get a finish, put on a really spectacular performance. And a guy like yourself who, as you mentioned earlier, you have really solid striking, right? Do you feel like your style kind of fits in for, what Contender Series is looking for or what Dana White is looking for?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I'm not even trying to be the braggadocious, but like I'm 100% what they're looking for. That's why I'm getting this opportunity. There's a lot of people with better records than mine or whatever, but when I fight, like it's exciting. I literally only try to finish. I have 3 decisions, and I'm like super mad about all 3 of them. I don't want any. I didn't want any decisions on my record. But that's just what happens. But yeah, Contender Series, I'm not even necessarily like worried about getting a finish. Of course, I want to finish, like I just said, but just with the way I fight, that's money. Like that's what people want to see. That's what most people can understand. It's like I'm just trying to punch people. Like that's it.
When did fighting become like a passion for you? Like, how did this career path kind of develop for you? Like, was this something that you wanted to do growing up, or how did this all kind of come about for you?
So growing up, I really had no interest at all in fighting. Like, of course, we'd always fight, in school for fun or whatever, slap box and stuff like that. And that's just what you do growing up in the locker rooms or in the streets, whatever. But um, I would say the first time I walked into a gym, I kind of have like an obsessive personality, so I'm either all in or all out. And the first time I walked into a gym, they're like, oh, bigging me up. And I never thought I was like the toughest guy in the world or anything. I was always small, but I was like, I could protect myself if I needed to. But the second day I went to the gym, I got a concussion and I was like, I didn't realize I was this vulnerable. And so I was like, I need to get that guy back at the very least. And so, I had to keep getting better to beat up that guy. And once I finally beat him up, then somebody else beat me up. So then it was just like this journey of trying to beat up the person that beat me up until I ended up being like, you know what? I should go ahead and take this pretty seriously.
Are there fighters around the sport whose style you kind of emulate, or fighters that you like to watch that you kind of like to learn from just by mimicking their own styles? Like, who are some of your favorite fighters that you like to watch?
When I first started, I was like, well, really, I was the Conor McGregor, of course. Like, you see that, and you're like, man, I want to do. He's cool. But then as I got better and started to look at like the nuances of fighting, guys like Adrian. Adrian was big. I like the stuff that he does, and I ended up getting to train with the same coach as him, and of course like Jose Aldo, um, and really a lot of boxers. Like I'm obviously with the way I fight, I watch. I probably do the most studying on just boxers.
Are you looking forward to the Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight? Are you gonna be
Oh,
watching that?
100%. And I hate when they do that. And I know they don't have a choice, but I hate when they put big UFC cards on the same day as big boxing cards.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I'm for sure gonna. My priority is to watch that over everything else. I want to watch everything if I can, but I'm for sure watching that Crawford and Spence.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, I appreciate the time, man. Last question for me. I want to kind of give you the floor. Like, what's your message to Dana White? What kind of fight can he expect there on the 15th? And what can he expect when you enter the cage?
On August 15th, Dana White can expect a finish from me. I'm literally. I have no doubt in my mind. I'm gonna get him out of there. I'm gonna knock him out, and I'm gonna make it exciting. I don't know how to fight any other way.
Absolutely, man. Well, before we wrap things up here, I'll give it the final word to shout out your team, any sponsors you're working with, social media, all that good stuff. I'll give it the final word.
So if you're on my team, then you already know who you are. So I'm not gonna do everybody one by one because it's just too many people that help me get there. But thank you to everybody that helps me get ready for these fights, including the person that gave me this eye.
Absolutely, man. Well, Cameron, I appreciate the time. All the best with these final few weeks of camp, and thank you so much for the time. And I'm sure we'll chat again soon, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.